watches it back in weeks or months to come. So yeah, but thank you to everyone for joining us. Obviously, a massive thank you to Emily. Unfortunately, Zoe couldn't be with us today. She's had some complications around a house move, so she's going to join us in the future. So Emily, sorry, it's all on you today.
That's fine.
So I think you all have come from our group, I believe. So yeah, so as you all know, then this event is part of a small group that we organise in which we are trying to inspire and really drive a diverse new generation of speakers in London. So we actually have a history of doing this within the LJC. A lot of Java keynote speakers gave their first presentations at LJC events. Emily, I believe, did you give your first?
Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. So here we go. So a perfect example of what we're trying to do. Java champion now, but gave your first event here, and that's what we're trying to do now. Every week, every month is do this on a kind of a rolling basis. So far we've encouraged about 35 new speakers through this scheme this year. Several have already gone on to get conference gigs, and that's really what this is about. So Q&As like today are here to give our members a chance to ask questions to those people that have been there, done it, worn the t-shirt. And so today that's Emily Jiang. So if you haven't come across Emily before, she is a Java champion, a Liberty microservices architect and advocate, and a senior technical staff member in IBM, based in Hursley in the UK. She's passionate about microprofile and Jakarta EE, and regularly speaks at conferences such as CodeNode, DevNexus, JAX London, Voxed, Devox, EclipseCon, QCon, GeekCon, JFocus, and a host of others. So I've got a few questions here that I've had that have come submitted from both you guys on the call and some people that couldn't be with us today. So I'm going to go through those, but if anybody has any questions, then feel free to put them on the chat box there, and I will ask Emily, or just unmute your microphone and jump in if you'd rather. So Emily, welcome. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
The first question I wanted to ask is why should people get involved in speaking? Obviously, people here have decided to potentially dip a toe in the water, but why should people get started? How do you feel it's impacted you and your career?
Right. So it's as you know, now it's kind of more and more companies and doing open source, right? Everything is in the open, and then is kind of the actually it's 4 years ago I got involved in microprofile. Basically, it's an open source project, and I spent quite a few months and trying to contribute towards the first ever specification called microprofile config. I spent the day and the night, and then I put a lot of effort in, and then it's kind of so, oh, okay, this is going to be great. However, it's like I suddenly realized if I don't go out to talk about it, nobody will know such a thing. You know, nowadays the information bang, just like you pushing out, right? You suck in a lot of people's time and etc. If you do not go out to tell people about it, nobody will notice this kind of the technology and etc. and can learn from you. So that's why I get involved in speaking. Actually, get more involved in the speaking. Actually, in the speaking, also I tell others and how this open source project works. Actually, I also get something back. The people will ask questions, and later on they have a chat with me and say, "Have you thought about this?" I say, "Oh no, I haven't." And what about this idea? So that's great. You feel like people contribute towards this project as well. I think it's and then it's get more people involved in the project. It's kind of grow the community. So I find that this is like a win-win opportunity for all of us. I think nowadays is more kind of projects. I think more than maybe it's 80% or something like that. Is people are trying to work on the open source projects and trying to collaborate with others, grow your external eminence as well. So this is great.
Okay, great. So for you, this started from a passion for the technology, a passion for microprofile and what you were doing, and wanting to share that with other people, wanting to help them understand it more and get them involved and then get more ideas back. Is that right?
Yeah, and grow the community. Is kind of getting new members so they can contribute and
Fantastic.
grow the team.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this didn't initially come from yourself wanting to progress your career necessarily. From what you're just saying there, it was almost more. It feels like something you felt you had to do. You had this knowledge and you wanted to
Yeah,
share it with other
yeah,
people. Okay, so have
yeah,
you seen?
exactly.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like there's a need for me to do it. I had when I first passionate about public speaking, I haven't thought about how this will benefit my own career whatsoever. I just do okay. I need to get this job done.
Okay,
Yeah.
brilliant. And have you, even though you didn't start by going after something that would benefit your career, I mean, quite clearly it has, because you've now become a Java champion. And in fact, we had a question about the path to a Java champion. Would you do me a favor and just explain to anyone that hasn't come across Java champions before, isn't aware, what it is, what it represents, what it means, and how you became one?
Right. This is a great question. I think it's quite a lot of people are kind of trying to understand what a Java champion means. Actually, if you Google for it, there's a kind of somebody, I think he's a Valad, wrote a blog about his path towards a Java champion. So it's basically it's what are who are the Java champions? What are Java champions? Java champion is the Oracle kind of recognition for award someone who contribute significantly towards the Java ecosystem. Java champion are leaders and also educate others, help others, and also contribute towards the Java ecosystem significantly. So they are true leader. So this is the Java champion. And for my part, when I first went to public speaking and etc., I didn't think, okay, this is kind of will pave some road, the road towards Java champion. However, because I went to the conference, I spent a lot of time and effort and prepare my talk and network with others and talk with others and etc. And then it's very visibly like my contribution and my hard work being seen by others, by other Java champions. And eventually, a couple of people nominated me to be a Java champion. And because my visibility in the conferences, and also I'm quite, the visible in the conferences, because nowadays it's kind of quite a few conferences come to invite me to do talks and etc. So basically, it's a kind of there's a kind of the more visible you are, the more contribution you make towards the Java ecosystem, and the more credit you will get. So this is the kind of you bank in the credit, and one day, and you become a Java champion. Yeah. And also I wrote some blogs as well. So that's again is the kind of great evidence to show your contribution towards the Java ecosystem. Because when someone nominated you, they need to gather what you have done in the Java ecosystem and etc. So you need to show you have done enough to demonstrate you are true leaders. You are capable of educate others and help others. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so whilst you didn't go out again, you didn't go out looking for this recognition necessarily. You did it because of your passion for the technology. I'm interested to know if you have felt any tangible impact to your career of being a Java champion. Now, I'm right in thinking you've been with IBM for a long time, right? So you've
Yeah.
not sort of necessarily bounced through different companies or anything like that. But have you personally felt any impact to your career because of this, the speaking or the Java Champion award?
Yeah, that certainly have some impact in my career. So basically, it's the kind of nowadays, because my external evidence and etc. is kind of, even though I don't personally promote something related to IBM. However, if my external evidence will show some credibility towards IBM. Basically, if I'm doing well, that shows IBM is kind of investing in the right person and etc. So the other thing that I can think of, because I work for IBM, and I work for Open Liberty and Microprofile, I kind of talk with other people and etc. And again, if people know me very well personally, and obviously when they choose some products and etc. So, oh, I know Emily work for this product. She might be able to help me. I think that's invisibly can help the project I'm working on. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna move on then to some of the questions we've had submitted, some other ones that we've had submitted. So the first question I've got then, how do you avoid getting lost in all the research you do for a talk? Do you have any thoughts or advice on that? How to
For the
keep it clear?
talks, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a great question. I think my one of the advice I will give is kind of, you should talk something you're passionate about, something you work on. Don't just freely Google and say, oh, sounds fun, I'm going to talk about this. If you only have 1 week knowledge about that area, you cannot convince yourself to go on the stage and tell others and pretend you are the expert. So my advice, the first advice, is to talk something you work on and you're passionate about. And because I talk in many conferences, but my major topic is about microprofile, which is kind of the technology I work on. I beg people to ask me questions. I don't feel, okay, don't ask me questions. That's a kind of, when you first start your conference speaking, oh, what can I do if I don't know the answer? Don't ask me any questions. Now I feel like if you don't ask me questions, I feel like I haven't done a good job, and probably they are not interested at all. So I feel like if you ask me questions, and I just feel a lot happier. I feel like people engaging and listen to me. Yeah. So
Okay,
that's yeah.
You have the other problem then, whereas you don't need to do the research, you have all the research that you've already done, and you just need to pick out which bits that to extract to talk about.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on how to do that? If you have a deep bank of knowledge on a subject, how you can refine that and distill that to a short talk?
Yeah, this is a great question. So for my topics, is all about kind of around what kind of questions that people normally ask me. So some of my talks are directly generated from the questions being asked. So I have give you an example. In the beginning, I talk about microprofile, and then the audience asked me, what's the difference between microprofile and a Spring? So that generates my second talk, compare microprofile with the Spring framework. So this kind of, people ask me questions. I thought, okay, I need to do a talk to educate them and to help them to understand this. And then my talk is all of my talk is directly trying to fix some problem. I don't just think, okay, to do the introduction and just doing a kind of flashing talk. I just try to work on a real problem, and then is what this talk technology can help you to solve that problem. So it's a more like a problem solving talk. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. All right. Okay, so the next question then: what tips would you give somebody for community building in the world of COVID, where face-to-face conferences are not an option anymore?
Yeah, this is very unfortunate. Actually, it's like this year, my schedule for conference was packed. Like my last physical conference this year was QCon London. Actually, I came back from Devnexus in the States and I went to QCon London, and then I look at in a hotel. Actually, I looked at my kind of future, this year's traveling. Like every month, I need to go to a couple conferences, and then it's kind of suddenly 2 weeks later, everything locked down. So it's for this is COVID. I think is kind of now is all the conference are virtual. So I think is kind of, however, personally, I still feel virtual conference cannot be compared to the physical conference, because for the physical conference, you can do the kind of more efficient networking. You know, a lot of ideas generated from corridor talking. When you see these people, you will like started talking and etc. You haven't prepared in advance. You just directly, very genuine. Then, oh, I suddenly realized, how about this idea and etc. However, like in the virtual conference, you don't. I don't know. It's some like element is missing. You don't feel like to talk frankly when you see the people. Or it's not the same when you see the camera and also when you see the physical people. You have a different image, you have a different words to come out. So however, we have to do the best. I think the virtual conference and also with some Slack meetings and etc. Yeah, can help. However, hopefully we can go back to the physical conference next year, hopefully.
Yeah,
So,
before too long.
yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting. So Slack as well. You've been doing some things on Slack, and you say you've been doing virtual conferences as well. Have you found
Yeah.
it easy to get into them, or has it just been the conferences that you were booked for you have now gone virtual?
Yeah, it's a kind of some conferences kind of I booked gone virtual. Also, there's some conference went virtual and then invited me. And then previous I said no, and now I said okay, yeah, I can do that. So like this same day, as I mentioned to you Barry earlier, like this morning I did a talk in the Indian conference. There's no way probably if I'm there, probably I won't be able to do this interview. But same day I could do multiple conferences. I think as I ended up doing more conferences, virtual conferences. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that
Some
because,
conferences,
as you say,
yeah.
you can be in India this morning and then in London, this afternoon. It's I think it has opened up opportunities in that way. But
Yes.
you're absolutely right in that it's just so it's not the same. There's definitely something missing. I thought it was interesting you said about the Slack groups and things like that as well. I think it's I think that's probably some good advice for people that are wanting to do it, maybe even blogging and creating content, in other ways. But also we've had
Yeah.
speakers
So
go on, sorry.
yeah, it's I'm going to say it's a kind of creating, maybe use this term, creating blogs and creating some labs and tutorials is great. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. So moving on then, how much time do we need to dedicate ideally when preparing a presentation? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's I'm not made conferences I'm not like a grow. I feel like a natural conference speaker in the first few years of my like public speaking. Although I was a lecturer before. You know, it's I can I was a lecturer in China, and then I came to the UK. You know, it's English is not my first language. It's a kind of when I first I had a thought, oh, I want to go out to talk about this. You know, I have the teaching skills. I can explain things very clearly. Um, However, some people think, your English is a bit you got some Chinese accent, and that put me off for some time. And then I thought, hang on a minute. Actually, in the conferences, like the European conferences, not many English, born English as their first language, and they are not like trying to listen to BBC, right? If you want to listen to BBC, you listen to radio. So you want to learn things, as long as I can explain things clearly, you can get it. So that's is kind of the purpose of this conference speaking. And then I started like preparing my first talk. As you mentioned earlier, my first talk, I came to the London Java community. So for that talk, I think I prepared probably nearly a month. Yeah, I prepared nearly a month, and I can like recite what I'm going to say on each slide. So I don't need to see the slide. So this is advice for every every people who would want to become a speaker. So in your first first few first few conferences and the first few sessions, you should prepare. So, and then I went to London Java community, and I was there, and I was quite nervous because it's the first conference. However, because I know the content very well, and after I introduced myself, first slide, and then I went to the mode I can recite every slide. Because I work on the technology day in day out. At that time, my talk is about OSGI best practices. I worked on that technology, I think for a year, so I knew very well. And then it's kind of when the audience, I asked a question, when the audience replied with the correct answer, that made my day. So I feel like, yeah, I can explain things clearly, and they listen to me, and that's I gain a lot of confidence from there. So, and then after a few conferences and etc. Nowadays, because I talk about things I've been working on it day and night, so yeah, it doesn't spend that much time to prepare talks anymore. Yeah, so basically all come with a long journey. Once you get there, and then now I can stand up to talk without any kind of materials and etc. So one day one of my colleagues said, Emily, you can wake up in the middle of the night and talk about macro profile for hours. so, so yeah, if you know that technology and etc., yeah, you can talk and talk for forever.
Like that. So at the beginning, prepare. But this is the goal. I think this is where people want to get to, when they can just stand up and talk about something. But like you say, you've got to talk about something that you love, that you're so interested in, that you want to talk about all the time. The sort of thing that people can't shut you up about. You know, that's what you want to be talking about. And then it's easier. But like, as you say, even somebody like yourself, at the beginning, you still took a month to prepare that, right? And that's right. I think you take a long time and until you can, I think for me, it's kind of like autopilot was what you were trying to say, or what you were explaining there was when you get up on stage, you've got these nerves and adrenaline and everything's kind of buzzing around you. But if you can just kind of relax and know that you've got it somewhere and you can just, rely on autopilot to do it for you, then
Yeah.
at least that's one less thing to not be nervous about. And you can only do that, as you say, prepare. Yeah, nice. I
Yeah.
do also want to pick
Yeah,
up on
exactly.
something you said there as well. So you were told you've got a Chinese accent, and people people couldn't understand you, or what did you say? You had a Chinese accent, and that put you off. You said initially that put you off speaking. Were you told that? In what context were you told that? If you don't mind me asking.
So it's kind of the when I talk about I think it's when I discuss this idea with some people, and then they are not they are not IT professionals, so they cannot have this false impression.
Mm.
And then eventually, I'm glad I didn't listen to them, and
Mm.
I challenged them, and yeah, and reached to today's uh, yeah situation.
Yeah, I love that.
So
I
which
think
is
so many
great.
people
So
do have concerns or are told one thing, something small, and it kind of sticks in their head, and it stops them doing, getting up on stage for one reason or another.
yeah.
But yeah, so glad that you didn't listen, and that you powered through. Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So it's one tip is always believe in yourself. If you have the passion to do it, just do it. So you need to show your passion. Actually, there's a one. Sometimes I listen to TED talks. So it's one that talks is about you need to show the passion. If you don't show your passion, your listeners can see. He talk about one the violinist. He can play really, really nice violin, and all correct. However, he didn't like it. So his facial expression and showed it. And then the composer, the conductor later on asked him, he said, I can see you don't like it. And he said, yes, I don't like it, even though I have the talent. And then he said, you should probably you should reconsider your career. And then he said, yeah, I was never happier after I quit violin. So basically, it's, if you're passionate, talk something you're passionate about, and then your listener can see your passion and listen to you. If it's, I'm not sure, and yeah, you shrug your shoulders and etc. Because, why should I listen to you? You don't even know what you are talking about. You don't even love it. So yeah, so this is quite important.
Yeah, great. I'd love to, if you don't mind, if you know the speaker on that TED talk, I'd love to get that from you afterwards, so that I can share that as well with
Yeah,
the group.
I will dig it out.
If I can just ask one more question, I know we're approaching 2:30, but one other thing came up that I'd be really interested to cover. Again, a submitted question, and this was around how to improve networking. So specifically, so I followed up on this question, and she said how to be more visible in terms of what we do. So obviously we're not salespeople and don't show things off, but for my next career level promotion, I keep hearing things like I need to be more visible across the wider organization and be better at networking. So any tips around that would be helpful. And I thought you especially would be very good or very well placed to answer this. Given IBM, I know, is this enormous organization, and you've clearly been very visible in what you do with the Java Champion work. So do you have any thoughts on improving your own visibility and things, steps that can be taken there?
Yeah, so there's two parts. Networking is really, really important. So it's externally. So externally, like a network can sometimes influence the internal network. So it's for my example. So my external network is all based on these kind of the open source projects, and also conference speaking, and also meet with other speakers, very influential people. And then it's and then they would like to get more involved in the technology, and also is connect the ecosystem together. And then it's kind of I bring back all these kind of requirements, and sometimes related to what the projects or I'm working on. And then kind of I get in touch with some other like IBM colleagues, and then this expand my internal network. And also because I work on this micro profile open liberty, and some other IBM colleagues, they work on some other part of the some other like business line, and then they would like to use open liberty. They will get in touch with me, and also I help with customers. And when they freely, and sometimes my colleagues, even my colleagues Google and find out, oh, okay, Emily, and then realize, oh, Emily works for IBM, my colleague. And then it's like they send me email, say, oh, I have a customer, I want to know this, and then get connected. So this is all like a knock-on effect. So basically, you need to be visible. And first thing, how to be visible. You solid on the project and the technology you're working on, and blog about it, and increase your external evidence, and then your network will start from there. Yeah.
That was really well put, I think. I don't think I'd ever really thought about that kind of the combination of the internal network and the external network, and how you can sort of use one to feed the other. So yeah, no, that's fantastic. All right, brilliant. Emily, thank you so much. Really appreciate you you being with us today. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Yeah, so much taken out of that. So yeah, really do appreciate that. And hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thank
Brilliant.
you all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.